Basically, I was playing for a team back home, and one of my friends on another team's teammate, confusing, he was getting involved with helping students from Hong Kong come to the US to get involved in the college system, because it's like the only place that does it. So for people like us there, it's quite desirable to come here. So he put me in touch with him, and I gave him a video, got in touch with Jason Wides and a few other schools, but basically Concordia seemed the most interested, and they made me feel welcome, even though I'd never visited and couldn't visit because I was too far away. But they just, over like the way they talked to me and kept following up, and they just seemed like they wanted me here, so I felt like a part of it. It was pretty easy for me because it took me a little bit of extra time. I had a couple of gap years and like to decide what I wanted to do, because I was going to go to uni in the UK, and which my older sister did, and my brother's at school there now, but like I was always going to go away from home for university, and that was sort of something that was planned from being quite young, and I just wasn't ready at the time. And then when I was ready, I decided to come here, and it was an easy decision because I wanted to do it, and I got to play. Like if I was to go to the UK for uni, I'd either have to study or play, whereas here I can do both. So it was quite an easy decision. And my family, my sister currently lives in Amsterdam, my brother's in England, and I'm here, and my parents live in Hong Kong, so like we're pretty spread out, and that's fine for them, I guess. I mean, they wish we could be there more, but yes and no. I mean, I knew coming to Nebraska, everyone's like, oh, what are you going to do there? Because being in Hong Kong, it's like one of the busiest cities, so I was always doing stuff, and it was, the first 4 months here was pretty difficult, and having the soccer really like made it easier, but it was the only thing that kept me going and kept me doing the schoolwork. But it was difficult coming here and having less to do. I mean, now that I've settled in and got into the routine of things, and now I really like it here, and I'm glad I came here. But coming here at first was such a big change, and like I was calling home all the time, and everyone's really nice, like almost falsely nice. When I first got here, everyone would be so overly nice, and I was almost being distant from that because I was like, there's no way you are that nice in person. So but then I started to realise that that's just how everyone is around here. Everyone's just really friendly, and even like going to Walmart and stuff, people would strike up a conversation when they hear like me say something, and so that helped a lot. And having a few of the other international boys helped, because we were all sort of in the same boat, but like the locals really helped a lot. So it brings diversity, and I think that's important anywhere. Like for me especially, I know some of the other lads would say the same thing, but like Hong Kong's like a melting pot for cultures. You've got people from Africa, people from Europe, people from America, people from Australia, Asians, like everywhere. And like every culture, every religion you could think of is in one place. And I think that's important for like growth and just learning about other people's cultures. I think it helps someone develop as a person, and it's also interesting. It makes things interesting. Like a lot of people from the smaller towns in Nebraska, like even on our team there's lads from like towns of 300 and stuff in Nebraska, and for them to get exposure to internationals helps them in the smallest ways, but still beneficial. I was most surprised at how spread out everything is. I mean, I knew like obviously there's going to be more open and stuff, but even a long drive back home in Hong Kong, a long drive back home in Hong Kong would be like 45 minutes. A long drive in England would be like 2 hours, but we're traveling like 4 hours there and back for games, and I think that was really hard to adjust to, because you know you're doing 10-12 hour days on the weekend, and it's tiring, and it's hard to stay focused when you're playing. And tying that in with school, I mean, it's almost like having a full-time job and playing at the same time. And then you've got, like, for me, I've got to earn money somehow, so I'm working as well, so you're basically like doing 3 things, and I think a lot of people don't realise that. But I think being at a smaller school, that helps a lot more, because you've got more of a personal connection with the teachers, rather than being at like a big school where there's thousands of people in a lecture and they don't really care whether you pass or not, it's up to you. Whereas here you get a lot of help, and that was quite similar to back home for me. Like on the education part, like the teachers were willing to, because it was such a small place, everyone knew everyone, and I feel like that's how it is here. Even though it's so busy, you'd always see people you know, and just there's that more personal connection, and I like that. And like friendships and stuff are ones that you make and then stay together, as cliche as that sounds, for longer, I think. But I think when people come here and try out and recruits and stuff, like I always tell them, you know, really it's your personal like wants and needs that will make the decision ultimately. Like you can see that even for some people with the biggest changes, like Lewis from Manchester, Dylan's from Belgium, you know, Marcelo's from Ecuador, I'm from Hong Kong, Aries from Hong Kong, like we've still managed to settle in to a small town in Midwest, and you know but that transition wouldn't be for everyone, and there are some people that just, even though maybe we'd want them here, they wouldn't fit in, and that's there's no hard feelings there, that's just not what they need. And you know, even someone could come here from complete opposite side of the world and have the best time of their life, but someone could come here and it'd be too much of a change for them and they wouldn't like it. So I would always say, like, I've enjoyed it here, so I would always say, you know, it's a good place, you can settle in. Like the first few months are hard, I'm not going to lie to them, you know, any transition's hard, so you know, you just gotta, if you can get through that barrier, that wall that would stop or change someone's decision, then come here, because it's a great experience. And at some point, you know, even if you're coming just to play sport, at some point the education has to come into it. And I mean, it's a good school for education, so why not stay? So if it's not for you, it's not for you. If it is for you, then it's a good school to be at. So I think just last season we were together, like the boys that are graduating this year from last year, they were so tight and they'd been together for so long, and it's very rare you have so many people in a soccer team. I mean, maybe a football team you've got like 30 people in a senior class, but in a soccer team it's rare to have almost a third of your team be senior, and they were so together, and that brought the underclassmen up with them, and just everyone was really close and got on, and the team chemistry was there, and you know, that's ultimately, I mean, we got beat by Northwestern and stuff in the group stages, or in the league play, but we knew sort of we won it for each other rather than individually, and that's really what pushed us through. Like in the final, like, I mean, everyone sort of wrote us off because it was Hastings at Hastings on a cold night, just like the semi-final the year before. But you know, we'd learned from that, and we knew, having played them 3 times that year, last year, we knew, and we believed in ourselves. And even though maybe some people didn't, which is understandable if you're going up against a team that's won it 14 out of 15 years, you know, people are always going to say, well, they're going to win it. But you know, if you've got nothing to lose like that, then sometimes you play up to the big games, and I think that put a lot of confidence in us for this season. Even though we're losing those guys, but they've left a good base for us, and now we're a team that people want to come to. So we're going to bring in better players. We're going to be the team to stay up there rather than be a one-hit wonder sort of thing. We're going to stay up there, I think.